Hey guys, HQ here. We had the subject pinned on the thumbnail today. We were going to talk about loving two people at the same time. I, of course, think that's possible, right? But we're going to talk about it and have somebody call in if they want to. So, do I think a person can love more than one person at a time? I'm being messy. I'm being messy. Uh, People always talking about loving more than one person at a time. They always talking about I want a polyamorous relationship. I'm just asking a question. Do you really think that you can love another person at the same time? Now I'm gonna answer that question. And you can call in and give me your response if you want to talk on the phone. We ain't doing no cameras or nothing like that. Do I think you can? I think you can. Yes, because people bring different gifts. You bring something to the table that no other human being brings to the table. Am I wrong? Am I right? You are your own unique person. So I believe you can love more than one person at a time. You can be committed to more than one person at a time. Right? True. It depends on how you define love. In romantic relationships, some people feel that they can feel deeply, equally for more than one person at the same time. Each relationship is different. Each relationship comes with its own unique set of problems, own unique set of thrills, own unique set of wants and desires, right? But usually, people are always talking about in the context of polyamory, right? Where people have those open relationships and they have multiple people that they're loving and dealing with. But that doesn't have to happen in a regular relationship. I can be in love with one person and that person gives me security, safety, uh, all the things that I may want. But then another person may give me laughter, safety. It could be any number of things. That's why I say yeah. But it would be interesting to hear from people who have fallen in love with people, two different people at the same time, and did not participate in the polyamorous thing, right? They got involved, they were involved with one person, and then they met somebody else. But they still had feelings for this person over here. But how did they get the feelings for this other person if you did not take away from this person over here? How is that possible? And I say it's because we are totally different and unique characters. All of us. I don't know. I gotta ask her. And we just bring different things to the table. I mean, it would be weird if we couldn't love a different person at the same time, different people at the same time. It would be weird because then that would mean you're just a one-dimensional person, and we all are different. We all are different. So we can love at the same time. We can love different people same time, right? I mean, it's different. I mean, you just have to look at what kind of loves are there on this planet. There's different types of love on this planet, right? You love family members, you love cousins, you love your friends. You're able to distinguish between those people, right? So why wouldn't you be able to love another person? I'm not saying it's correct. Don't put it in my mouth that I said it's okay to love two people at the same time. But I'm saying if a person makes you feel safe on one hand and you have passion for the other, maybe I don't know. I've never loved two people at the same time. I was just wanting someone who could call in and sort of explain that to us, right? Explain it to us. How did you love another person, but you had strong, deeper feel? Wait a minute. You know what? This would be an interesting question for somebody who cheated on somebody they were in a relationship with, but they happen to fall in love with somebody else. How does that work? I mean, come up and explain it. There's no judgment. We just want to know, how did it happen? How did you uh how did you navigate that? Because I'm one of those people. People say, no, you can't love two people at the same time. You be cheating on another person. But I want somebody can explain how that is not cheating. How do you Is all women capable of love, or is there different love? Every person is capable of love unless they've been through so much trauma that feeling is stifled. I mean, most people have a abundance, an ability to love many different people at the same time. So why wouldn't you be able to love another person? Maybe not as deeply. I don't know. I want to know. I want to know, how do you cut that off? I love her and I love her, or I love him and I love him. How do we explain that? Okay. I mean, how do you think a woman should love a man that's suitable? She would love him just like she would love a man that's unsuitable. you, you think they love a different way? No, you just love that person, regardless of what. Your capacity to love has nothing to do with the person, that person. Your capacity to love and to love someone and be able to extend yourself has nothing to do with the other person. You are that individual that's able to extend themselves into love. So it's not like you change how you extend yourself unless that person has done something to betray the feelings that you have, right? But I don't know the difference between a bad guy and a good guy. My heart doesn't know the difference between a bad guy and a good guy. My heart doesn't know the difference. So therefore, you don't say, well, maybe I love him harder because he's better, he's nicer, and I love him only a little bit because he's not, you know, that's not how that works, right? And people say, well, how can she love a Pookie? How could she be in love with a Pookie? How could she do that? Her heart doesn't say he's a Pookie. Her heart doesn't say he's a millionaire. Her heart doesn't say that. Her heart just says, I want what I want, regardless of the decency of the other human being. I mean, I'm sure that as sooner or later things are done that make you say, "Oh hell no," but that doesn't mean that you're not capable of falling head over heels with a person, regardless of their character, right? Because how do people love murderers, and how do people love and fall in love with Pookie? Like you said, how do you fall in love with a Pookie? People say, how did she fall in love with a Pookie? And she didn't fall in love with the good guy. Because her heart doesn't tell her that he's a good guy or he's a Pookie. Her heart just says, this is how I feel. This is what this person draws out of me. Right? And that's why people have to force themselves, or they're in a relationship for a long time and they don't mean to be. But my whole point is, you can love two people at the same time. I want to know somebody who can do it. It's not necessarily that the feelings have to be equal. Each feeling has their own set of dynamics. Each feeling, each heart, each person. But we don't know. We don't know. We all have a See, here's my thing. I don't believe people can be, I don't believe you can vet unless it's the things that people tell you, through the things that people tell you. But people can lie, right? People lie all the time. They lie all the time because they want to put the best person or version of themselves forward, right? And a lot of people lie because they want to put the best foot forward. So how do we vet somebody who lies to us? That's the question that I always had. How do you vet somebody who lies to you? The point is that you can't. I don't know you lying to me. I don't know that until I get involved with you, right? And then sometimes it's too late. I'm already pregnant. Okay. I'm already pregnant. I'm already in the situation. Not even the FBI can vet. Not even the FBI can tell you whether this person gonna act the fool 3 years down the road or years down the road. Not even the FBI. You can knock off some markers. She can say, "Oh, okay, well, he went to prison. Maybe he ain't the best. This. Maybe he got 3, 4 different baby mamas. Maybe he can't keep a job." She can vet that way, but that doesn't mean she knows that he's going to leave her for Sally Joe down the street. That doesn't mean she ain't going to leave him for the ice cream man. There's no way to really vet except very minimally, and that nobody can tell. So I'm saying, okay, so is polyamory, and I'm not saying someone who's in a polyamorous relationship. I'm saying that's the best way people can relate to it. But has anyone been in love with 2 people or wanted 2 people at the same time? And how did you navigate that particular situation? Did you tell the first person? Did you not tell either one? Did you continue to deal with both of them? How did you know you were in love with both of them? How did you know? How do you know? Did you feel like you had equal responsibility for both those people? Equal responsibility for their feelings, right? I don't know. Each relationship, if you're involved with 2 relationships, each relationship is different. They bring different characteristics. They fulfill different needs. It depends on what your needs are. Whether this person may not, I don't know, for lack of a better thing, this person may not do all the things that you want them to do as a woman. And then this person may do not all the things you want as a woman. So they might be, if you could put those 2 women together, maybe you could have a whole woman, but that's not how the love works. That's not how relationships work. You have to take the one person and then you have to figure out how you can live without those things or supplement those things that this other person is giving to you, right? Because you can't have both. You can't have both women, both men. So there's trade-offs in this kind of relationship. Look, the man I want, just for an example, the man I want him to be a billionaire. I want him to be 6'5". I want him to have broad shoulders and a big chest and a deep voice and a long Johnson. There's things I may have to sacrifice because I want something more. And there's a lot of women who sacrifice a lot of things because they want something more. But we're not talking about sacrificing things. We're talking about getting all the things you want from 2 or 3 different people. and not necessarily from a polyamorous standpoint, right? I mean, you can experience deep and abiding love for two different people. It's just that they bring different gifts, and are those gifts precious to you? We're not talking about just a sexual relationship. We're not just talking about the physical. We're not just talking about what she had gives him the best blowjobs. We're talking about actually loving another person and having that person fulfill needs that maybe the other person doesn't, or maybe they do. I keep speaking as though one person gives you stuff and the other person doesn't. That may or may not be the case. You could find a woman that you want, and physically she's all that you want, because you can't tell me that men don't quit. I mean, men don't cheat. Um, and they still have the best of what they need at home, right? How many times have we found out that people in the news have cheated, and that woman was doing all the things that she needed to do, okay? And then cheat. But I'm talking about love. I'm talking about loving another human being, falling in love with another human being when you for sure thought you were in love with the first person. Okay. Men say they don't leave unless they men say they don't leave unless they have I don't know. Somebody give me an idea of what men leave. Who knows? Okay. We don't know. I don't know why men leave. Okay. I know women leave because there's something lacking. Okay. There's something lacking. Usually, at least that's what the women tell me. That's what the women tell me. I can't say that's the truth. Okay. So my whole point is, can she love more than you? But sometimes I guess you can love another person like that. Okay. You can love more than one person and not necessarily feel that it's cheating. Okay. Is it cheating? Did you decide that you were going to fall in love with another person? Okay. Did you betray the other person? Or did you let the other person know that you were going to cheat, or you weren't going to cheat? Or you were just going to experience the emotions from this person, but you weren't going to cheat? How does that work? Okay. We wanted to hear from somebody who understands, I felt this for a person, and then this other person came on. We don't know. Okay. We don't know. I say yes. Okay. Multiple people, you're able to love multiple people in your family. So why couldn't you love multiple people outside of family when that person is totally different from this person? Okay. When you're totally different from this, you say, wait a minute, he said, okay, what does it say? Can you define love? I say love is, it's a very difficult thing to explain, right? A deep feeling, a deep feeling of attraction and desire to take care of another human being without wanting anything in return. I don't know. That maybe that's my definition. Maybe it's someone else's. I don't know what other people's definition is, right? Other people may have a different definition. But I say it's possible. Can you love two men that occupy the same space? Can a woman? She not supposed to. I mean, I wouldn't love two brothers. I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. That just means that speaks to your character. If you're dealing with two people who occupy the same space, if that's what you mean. You know what I'm saying? If loving two men and occupying the same space, that means I'm dealing with one brother, I'm dealing with a cousin, a friend, a homie, I'm dealing with a coworker. You can, but then that would speak to your character, right? That would speak to how much of a person that you value, how much you value yourself, how much you value relationships. And I would never date you because then that would say something about your character. Like men who sleep with the sister, the mama, the cousin, her friend. I would never deal with a man like that. You because that speaks to his character. Okay? Yes. Two totally different human beings, because that means that you have little regard. You have little regard for for the first person that you got involved with. For you to fall in love with the same person in the same space means you have little regard for that first person that you fell in. And I would posit that you would never have gotten involved with this other person if everything was here in the first person. That's why you never can find all of the things that you want in that one person. And there's compromises to be made in relationships. Like I said, I want to be 6'5", big shoulders, millionaire. But I have to compromise because I know I'm not going to find that type person who has all of those characteristics that I want. Okay? No way. Unless I just go around the world and do and just look for him specifically, right? But he's not gonna come and walk up my door and say, "Hey, AQ, yeah, you the one." No. So therefore, we have to make compromises for. We have to make compromise. It's not a link. It's not a link. It's a phone call. You see the phone call on the. Oh shoot, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm goofy. Hold on. It's a phone call. You can give me a phone call. It's not a link. With the shoulders, AP. Make a phone call. So you'll be on the phone call, but you won't be on dropping a link. If you can make a phone call, please do. Please do. I don't know why I don't know. Hi, Dr. Steele. I don't know what I like about shoulders. I know that I'm attracted to a man who has big shoulders. I know I'm attracted to a man who's taller than me. I don't know. I can't describe any of that, right? Just like men say they want a chick with big boobs. I don't know why big shoulders is the thing. It just is. But that doesn't mean I can't fall in love with a man who is real thin. It just depends on the characteristics that he presents to me, right? I'm just giving you an example of the things. I'm just giving you the things. I mean, I like a person that has a smart mouth. I noticed smart mouth, sort of on the intelligent side, but not particularly smart ass where he be insulting me. What else? Mentally, he has to understand modern women. He has to be self-sufficient. I mean, it's all kinds of things. Not me, but I'm saying but what if I found those characteristics in two different men? I probably would be attracted to him. Both of them. And then I would have to make the sacrifice or the choice as to which one, right? Which one that I would want to see, which one what I could live without, right? I can live without big shoulders, okay? I can do that. I don't want to. I don't want to, right? But I'm saying I don't want to. I real thin. It can be as long as he's tall. All right, we got a caller here. Let's see.
From
Triple X.
X.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press
Triple X.
What's going on with it, baby girl? How you doing, HQ?
How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, better than I deserve.
What do you have to say for the crowd? Can you guys hear Triple X? Put a one if you can hear.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, can they hear me? Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, first, go ahead.
No, I'm asking you. Tell me.
Okay.
Tell
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, first and foremost. Oh, okay. Yeah, first and foremost, definitely shout out to you for your live stream and the success you having on your come up on the Single by Choices show and this show. So respect to that.
Thank you, sir.
That said, yeah. First and foremost, let's get that out of the way. None of respect. But this is an interesting topic. I think the interesting thing about this topic is everybody's kind of got their own definition of what love is. I've seen your breakdown of it, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. I don't really have a lot of pushback for what you said when you said that's your definition of love.
So
however, I think
people.
Go ahead.
Two people. You think two people can fall in love with one person? I mean, one person can fall in love with two people. You think that's true?
I think from the perspective that you described it as, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's possible. If enough time is spent with those two people in parallel, yes. I think that's possible. I mean, I've definitely had feelings for more than one woman at the same time, not in a cheating manner or whatever. It's just me not seriously dating at that period or time in my life, and I'm just dating two women. And some women aren't looking for something serious. They might just be looking for more of a companion style situation.
Right. Right.
Like, yeah. Like I date a lady now. She's older than me, and she used to be a fitness model. Absolute knockout. She's older than me. She's not really looking for anything serious, like to be married again. She's been married before. She's had her kids and everything and whatnot. Absolute stunner for her age, So, yeah. She's not really looking for anything like that. But, we've been dating off and on for a long time. And then I still date other women. So, that's how it goes. So it's certainly possible for a man to do that and have feelings for more than one woman. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't find it messy. So how do you feel? I mean, were you conscious of how you felt when you found out you had feelings for the two different people? Were you conscious at that time that you had those feelings?
Yeah. I was conscious at that time. It took a while for that to happen, but after spending a certain amount of time, many months even rolling into years with those particular ladies, I found myself being conscious of that because it happens just naturally as a man because you get more territorial about it. You get even more protective about it. I mean, I know what it was. It was never exclusive with either. But, I was more territorial about women. I was more aggressive toward the women. And, I felt it coming out. It wasn't as it was when I first met them. I cared more.
Right.
I did more. So it was more being put into it. So the feelings is naturally going to develop for anything you're spending a lot of time and effort with. That's just how it goes.
So my question is this: why didn't it get messy?
Why didn't it get messy? It didn't get messy because how you start up is how you end up, and I laid the rules down off jump that it wasn't nothing serious like that. I definitely still date. You know, I'm not in a relationship. I'm either gonna be in a committed relationship or I'm not. It's gonna be only two options here. You know, and if I'm not, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So that was the perspective of jump. You know, unless I'm somebody and I'm dating them and I decide that's the direction I want to go in. You know.
So are you saying that that's a man thing where you can cut yourself off from going further?
Yeah. I think that is more of a man thing because from my experience, from what I witnessed from dealing with a lot of women over the years, dating a lot of women over the years, is that they always seem to get caught up when they try to do that. They meet a guy, he's a fun guy, he's 6'5", he's got the shoulders, he's making some money, he's riding a motorcycle.
Right.
So he's doing all of the alpha bad boy things. You know what I'm saying? He's in a motorcycle gang. They like, okay, this is my fun guy. Then they done roll around in the bed waiting for a few months, and now they like, hey, I love this guy. You know, I'm ready to rob banks for this guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's tough for them not to get caught up in that storm. But
so my next question is, did these two women know about each other?
They did not. They did not know about each other. And I never announced that I was dating or seeing another woman, but I just made it clear that this was not an exclusive relationship and I could be possibly open to dating somebody else, but you don't have to bother me about my business. So that was the agreement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You say it is possible to love two people at the same time. Is there someone out there who says that's not the case and they got a good argument for it not being the case? If you have an argument that for it not being the case, that you cannot love two people at the same time, would you pick up the phone and give us a call so we can hear your side of it? He's saying it's possible. I don't know whether that's a man thing or a female thing. I'm just saying, who has a different perspective about why it's not possible to love two people at the same time? I think it's possible because we all bring different gifts to the table. We're all individual and unique human beings, right?
Yeah, right.
I may be 5'8", 150, brown skinned, nice looking, personable, but you might also be attracted to the very prim and proper, no makeup, no hair, no nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Totally different women, but I bring experience, I bring age, I bring wisdom, I bring, whatever. She brings this and this, but two different women. But
right. I agree with that.
So he's saying, yes, you can. But I see some people that are in the comment section saying, no, you can't. So I'm saying, you give it a whether we can or not, whether we can agree with your side, right? I'm on Lex's side, so I don't know what you all talking about. But thank you, Lex. Thanks for calling.
No problem. Take care, baby girl.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Love is not, that's correct. Love is not restricted. We have an endless bounty of loving people. That is the way that we are built. We have an endless supply of loving people. We have the capacity to love deeply a lot of different people. Okay. Because we love family and friends and all of that, I believe there's no end to how much. Your heart doesn't say, I'm just going to love this one person. Your heart doesn't say, I can only love one person. Your heart, it's not like a door you close after you fall in love with somebody and then boom, you can't do it. It's possible. Not even in the polyamorous relationship. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a regular relationship where I'm where I'm in love with this person, I'm in a relationship with this person, and I love this person. But one day I see this person and then I'm fascinated by this new person without meaning to be fascinated by this new person. I don't mean to hurt this first person, but I'm fascinated by this next person. I'm saying, do we say that it's wrong even though we didn't do it? We didn't open ourselves up to fall in love with another person. You didn't open yourself up and say, I wanted to fall in love with another person. We didn't do that. It just happened to be that we did fall in love with this other person. And this person did nothing unusual. This person did nothing out of the ordinary. You just happened to fall for this other person. Obviously, you have your capacity to distinguish and make categories for this person and that person. You might work with this person. You might have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you go to work one day, and Susie didn't have on that skirt all the time you work with Susie, and then all of a sudden you looked at Susie in a different way, and you said, "Damn, I always felt, I always liked Susie, but I didn't know that I always liked her. I always liked her, but I didn't realize that I had more feelings for her. You didn't know." I'm not saying deliberately go out and start dating other people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it comes upon you and you didn't know that it was there. This was my best friend, or I met this person, or I'm fascinated by this person. I just met this person. I don't know why I'm fascinated with this person. I just know that I am. And then all of a sudden they're there where you maybe not in love with this person, but the potential the potential is there, and you can't help yourself from wanting to understand more about this person. And then you end up knowing that you have feelings for this person. You want, Adrian, you want 3 girls. Everybody wants 3 of everything. I want somebody that's rich, somebody got a big Johnson, and somebody that know how to clean the house. Of course, I want all of those things, but can I have those things, right? Are you capable of supporting those things? Okay. I'm not saying deal with this person, this person, this person, this person. I'm saying you're upfront, or you're upfront with yourself, right? You're upfront with yourself about the feelings that you have for this person. Okay, and you're upfront with the person feelings that you had for another person. Do you leave? That's another question. Do you leave when you feel as though you got involved with another person? You didn't mean to, but do you leave that initial relationship? Do you say, "Man, I'm shitty human being, and I fell in love with this person. I'm in a relationship with this person, but I fell in love with this person. Do I leave? What do I do?" I'm not trying to be a mean person. I'm not trying to be a fucked up person. I'm not trying to do that. So what do I do? What does a person do when they find themselves involved with another person and they're already dating or married to another person? I didn't wake up wanting to fall in love with my coworker. I didn't wake up wanting to fall in love with the dude on the internet. I didn't wake up doing that. Okay. So we have people who saying you cannot love two people at the same time. Triple X said you can. I think you can, simply because people bring different things to the table. And we are creatures that have endless and boundless capacities to love people. That's why. And some people know how to control themselves that way. And some people are just one of those people, because we would not have the situations that we have. We would have more stable relationships if people didn't have or fall and get other feelings for other people, if that were the case. Are you capable of loving other people? Are you capable of loving two people at the same time? I think so, simply because, true, love and devotion will be divided. But you think I can love one person, but I can't love another person? If a person you loved was deceased, but you were in love with that person when they died, but years went by, years went by, and then somehow miraculously that person came back, but you were in love with a new person. Wouldn't you still have feelings for the person that came back, that had deceased and came back? Wouldn't you have feelings for both of those people? I say you can. Now, what you do with them, what you do with that, depends on what kind of goals you have for your life. Are you one of those people that want to be in that kind of relationship, want to be in a polyamorous relationship, want to be in a regular relationship? You have this. If you don't want to be in a polyamorous relationship, you have decisions to make. Which person is good for your overall position in life? Which person is good for your direction that you're going in your life? People have feelings for two different people, three different people all the time. And you make the determination as to which one is better for you. People always do that. That happens when you're dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different women. And you have feelings. This one is really nice. She's real nice. She knows how to cook. She knows how to clean. Boom, boom, boom. But her sex ain't all that good. This one, her sex is real good. She know how to give good BJs. She halfway clean, but she look good. Or this one over here who look good on your arm. Everybody saying, yeah, man, she look good as hell. What do? You have to make that determination all the time. But you have feelings for all of them. But you have to say bye-bye to at least two, because you want to think of your future and go ahead with your future with that one particular person. And that's why I say it happens all the time. People, when someone has done you dirty, that's when you know you're capable of having feelings for other people. This person did me dirty so bad, I can't go back to him, but I still got feelings, right? But this new guy came along, and this new guy treated me right. I feel good, da 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 da. But I got feelings for both of those guys. It happens all the time. So yes, you can have feelings for two people at the same time. The whole point is, what do you do about them? How do you navigate that? Okay. If you're dating, it's a different story. I don't have to tell you anything. But if we're going on this 3-month mark or 4-month mark or whatever, however long you guys decide you're going to date, then I think it's either cut the bait or tell the other person about the other person. Okay. Usually when I'm dating, if I'm dating someone, I'm not checking for what you're doing while we're dating. We're dating. 3 months go by. You should know whether I'm the one, right? 3 months go by. You should know if I'm the one that you want to be with. I don't give you headache or gripe for those first 3 months because a lot of people are still entangled in relationships, entangled in sexual relationships, situations. People are tangled within the first 3 months. You know, after the first 3 months, okay, you know, after 3 months, whether I'm the one that you want to date, right? So therefore, that's when you give that person, that girl or that guy, are you going to see me or are you going to see this other person? That's when you give them that leeway right there. You don't continue to be in that two-person relationship, three-person relationship. You know, and he knows, she knows when you have feelings for me and you need to cut these off. Okay. And we have an endless, boundless capacity to love people. I'm all for you dating 4 or 5, as many people as you want to date. Go ahead, do whatever you got to do. But sooner or later, your heart is going to become clear. Your heart is going to become clear as to who is the better fit for you. Okay. I'm not saying, and I didn't say that you can love 2 men. I'm not saying they are sustainable together. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is each man brings different gifts. Each man brings different gifts to the table. And we date a lot of people. We date 3 or 4 people at the same time. There's a lot of people who do that. A lot of people who do that. And they have feelings for 2 and 3 people at a time. Which one is better for my situation? Which one is better for me long term? People do it all the time. 3 months is the cutoff. Okay. 3 months, you should know whether you have feelings for me enough where we can go forward and vice versa. Okay. I never tell, if you're one of those people that have to date just one person, then that's what you do. That's what you date. That's how you do it. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with dating 3, 4 different people at one time. Sleeping with them is a different subject. We didn't say sleep. We said date. And people do that all the time. Okay. All the time. I remember when I was dating 2 years after my husband, I was dating. I would have like 4 or 5 dates a week. 4 or 5 dates a week. I'd meet him at a restaurant. The same restaurant. I would meet him at the same restaurant. And the people at the restaurant would know what they looked like just in case something happened to me. The restaurant people, and they would be on camera, and the restaurant people would be able to say, yeah, she came in here every day at the specific time with different people, but she came in here and had lunch or dinner or whatever with these people at this table every time. But that was a safety factor for me. So I was dating 3, 4, 5 different people at the same time. It was more than 3 or 4. It was like I had a date every week, right? But I'm not sleeping with them. No, we're not sleeping. No, we're not talking about sleeping, right? But dating, I'd meet them, maybe on a website or whatever. I'd meet them at the store or whatever, and then, hey, meet me at this restaurant at 6 o'clock. You want to date with me? You want to talk to me? Blah, 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 boom. Then we wouldn't have no obligation for each other. Because I wouldn't call him back or I'd block him or whatever. Right? But I'm saying I did at one point, this was a long time ago, I did at one point have feelings for two different guys at the same time. Because the first one I had been dating and was disappointed. Because he said he wanted what I wanted. Okay. A nice, mature relationship, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't want that. From his actions, he didn't want that. So it only took one or two times where you disappointed me. And then I broke up with him in an email or a text or something. But but I also had seen one other guy at the same time that I had been seeing right at the end of that first guy. So I really wanted this first guy to work out, but this other guy I was fascinated by. Right? And if one of them would have said, there's a choice to be made, I would have been like, oh shit, I don't know. Yeah, I know. I sent him a text or something. I think it was a text. I sent him a text. And I said, you know what? You didn't want the things that I wanted. And so therefore, I'm going to allow you to do whatever you need to do on your own. Of course, but at that time, this guy was so fascinating. I was like, whatever. Right? But still, thank you guys. Thank you. Car Before the Horse, $20. Say shout out to HQ. Hit the like button and support the channel. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this is where we're at. Loving two people or caring about two people at the same time. Okay? And I think it's possible. But here's the thing. What do you say about this? You would never have fallen for the second girl if the first girl wasn't lacking something. You think that's correct? If the first girl wasn't lacking something, you never would have came over here to deal with this other girl. So that kind of flies in the face of being able to love two people at the same time. And I'm torn because I want to hear from someone who says there's no way you can deal with two people at the same time. One of the ladies, give me a call. Call on the number and then tell me why you think ZMW or Lonnie or Dr. Steele. Call me and tell me why do you think you cannot love two people at the same time? What are your reasons for saying that? Right now, Triple X came up and said, yes, you can. But maybe it's a man thing. We don't know whether it's a man thing. Maybe it's a woman and a man thing. We don't know. But I'd like to hear from someone who says, Hexy, no, you can't. You cannot. I was saying, because I had this one person that I really had feelings for, but he kept disappointing me. Calling, I got to call you, I got to deal with, I got to leave, I can't stay, I got to do da, right? And then this other person came along and everything was open and free and sexual and just he hit all the buttons, right? But this dude hit all the buttons too. He had all 6 foot, Johnson, the whole, everything was just like bam. But then I saw this person. So, and then I was conflicted. Please don't tell me not to see this other person. But they didn't know about each other, right? Please don't tell me not to see, because I'm still fascinated, but not as fascinated. Right? But lust is how we end up in love with two different people. Lust is the beginning. So thank goodness I decided I was going to end it over here, because this one started pulling me that way and saying, yeah, let's do this thing right here. Right? But this person didn't fight for me. Right? This person didn't fight for me. I saw him maybe 2 months later, and he was like, what happened to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what happened to you? You weren't trying to do our thing. But I was already fascinated over here, right? So I'm saying not necessarily polyamorous. We have some women in this community that have 2, 3 men. But I never did get a clear understanding from those women. Why do you need another man? It's you and 2, 3 different men. Why do you need 2, 3 different men? How does that work? How do you spread yourself over 1, 2, 3, 4 different people? Okay. And I understand dating. She said, Batty boy, stop it. So how do you deal with that? When you know you like this girl, but this other one is fascinating too. And you have to make a determination, because this one says, I want a commitment, but you're not ready, but you still have feelings over here. Is it cheating? That's another question. Is it cheating? Okay. I mean, I see some people say, well, that's not cheating. That's not love. That's lust. That's cheating. Is it cheating if all the parties, if you decided that you all are going to date, if you're going to date, but you're not going to let the other people know that you have conflicting people over here? Is that fair? Is that cheating? Okay. Would you want to be aware? Do you want to be aware of this other person? Are we talking about competing? This is what we're talking about now. Do we want to be in that competitive arena? Do you want to compete with other men, other women? I really don't want to compete. A lot of women say, I really don't want to compete. Are you talking about competing, or are you talking about just being in a relationship and it is what it is? Two people knowing. If all of you guys know, then that's a different story. But a lot of people don't know. I was dating my husband. I never asked him who else he was dating. Because I wasn't interested in who he was dating. I knew what I wanted to do, right? I knew what I wanted to present to this person. And he was just the type of person that you would meet and you knew that person was they was marriage minded. He was a pookie. Don't get me wrong. He was a pookie. But he was a marriage minded pookie, right? Marriage minded pookies. There are some of those marriage-minded pookies out there, right? Just got to find the right one. But my whole point is, are you willing to compete when you know this person has another man on the side? Yeah, and that's a question I meant to ask. If it's 2 men, if it's you and a woman, and you just are dating, and somehow you find out that she was dealing with another man, would you try to compete? Would you compete for her? Or would that be, men you just ain't gonna do? And my question is, if you're not going to compete, why do you want a woman to compete? Or do you feel like you don't need to compete? He said, I only compete for my couch and my bedroom. Stop it. And that's the thing. Men have started wars because of women. That's why I'm always arguing for the fact that women are the prize. Because men will off other men for a woman. And you very rarely hear women offing men because of another woman. We're going to beat you up. We're going to pull your hair. We're going to snatch you naked. We're going to cut your clothes off. But we ain't going to hardly delete you. Men be starting wars. Men be wanting to delete folks. But I'm saying, do women feel like they need to compete when it's two of you girls, two of you women or three of you women for that one man? And don't tell me you don't, because women will fight over firemen, women will fight over the garbage man, you'll fight over this man. If he's single, sexually active, tall enough, make enough money, we'll compete. But my whole thing is, why do we have to compete when it's two people and men don't have to compete? Because you would consider yourself, as a woman, you would consider yourself a prize, right? You work, you chew gum and walk at the same time, you stand upright, you do all of these things. So why wouldn't you feel the need to compete and know you putting your best foot forward for that woman? Because that woman, you have to first think of that person as a prize. But he thinks both of you girls are prizes. She thinks both of you guys are prizes. Okay? And as I said, I see people say, you cannot be in love with two people. We gave the argument, the first argument was, you can be in love with two people at the same time. Now, we'll make the argument for why you can't be in love with two people at the same time. It's that competition. People don't like it. People don't know how to compete. Women don't understand that they're always competing. And men don't understand that they're always competing. Because you're always competing. We're always competing. So therefore, when two people, when I go out and if I fell in love with two people, I would find the lacking one. From my story. I'm saying, Triple X, I believe that you could be in love with two people at the same time. I'm saying I'm making the case for the other side. The other side said, no, you can't be in love with two people. So why do they think that way? Okay. Men think that way. Women think that way. Because one person would be lacking something. Women would be lacking something. Men would be lacking something. If you had two people and you had to choose, how would you choose? No, I'm saying this is one of the arguments, Triple X, that one woman is for not being in love with two people. One person would be lacking something else, something. So I want the argument. Can somebody call me and tell me what the argument is as to why you cannot love two people? I'm trying to figure out what's the argument. Okay, because I think you can. Yes, men do compete with the resources. We understand that men do compete with the resources. But you also have to compete with the attitude, with the how you express yourself with that woman. I said this one time. Resources don't mean anything if you treat her like trash. Okay? Resources don't mean anything. You can have all the money in the world. But if you treat her like trash, she's not going to stay. And when you're looking for a person, when you want a person, you should look for qualities that are in that one person for all the things that you want. And you need to compromise with some of the other things. Like I said, beginning, I want 6'5", big shoulders, $1,000 an hour or a month in my bank account. I want a Johnson that's about 10 inches, all these things. But am I going to get all of those things in one guy? 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to get them all in one guy, which means I either date one or two guys at the same time and get half here and half there, or I compromise with the one person that may not have all of the things I want. He may not have big shoulders, but he might treat me well. I might be sexually attracted to him, but he might be 5'7". My husband was shorter than me. You think I wanted to fall in love with a short man? You think I wanted to fall in love with a short man when I love to wear 3-inch heels and I'm like 6'2" and 3 in heels? So I lived my life in short heels. You know what I'm saying? I lived my life because I had to compromise. And I was dating other people at the time. When I met my husband, I was dating other people. But after having a conversation with him 1 or 2 times, I was like, I'm not getting all that I want over here, right? And maybe he had, he's shorter than me. But he does all of these things. So I had to make a decision. Do I want to be out there dealing with 2-3 people, have different feelings for all of these people when I didn't want to have feelings for 1 or 2, and then I end up with 2, 3, and then I end up with a fight or something going on? Or do I want to take a chance on this one person? Okay. Do I want to take a chance on loving this one person and seeing where it can go with this one person? Which is what the choice that I made, which was a good choice. And I did it for 30 years. Of course, it was a good choice. I can't say it's not a good choice. But for some people just can't make that determination of 2-3 different people. They cannot make the distinction between dealing with one person, 2 people, 5 people. So is anything wrong with that person because they can't make that decision between 1, 2, or 3 different people? Is it possible they can have feelings for more than one person and not be able to make that decision, that determination? Because there's a way you can go. There's a way you don't have to deal with. You can just focus on that one person. Okay. You can focus on that one person and then deal with that one person. She said it's kind of sexy to be eye to eye. Yeah, when you're in the bed, when you're laying down. But like most women, I like to look up. No, we don't all like 6 foot tall men. We like men that are taller than us. There's a distinction. I hate when people say, oh, she wants a 6 foot. No, we want a man that's taller than us. I am 5'9" or 10, right? I don't know which, for 5'9" or 10. If he's 5'11", I'll take him. That's all I'm saying. You just got to be taller than me in our bare feet. And then I'll live with not wearing heels again, right? I'll live with that. So these are the compromises that I would make if I had a decision between 2 men, of dealing with 2 men, and I would withdraw from this one, which is what I did. We want to know if it's possible to love 2 people at the same time. I want an argument about why you can't love two people at the same time. Okay. Give me the argument that says you can't love two people at the same time. Okay. And then that call in, just call the number and I'll answer. So that's where we're at. Of course, I'll take 5'11", but I usually say 6 feet because I'm trying to get past them heels. Okay, I'm trying to get past them heels, right? But that don't mean I won't take someone who is my size, my height, 5'10", 5'11". I mean, it is what it is. If you fall in love with that person, if this person is 5'10" and this person is 6 foot, and I'm getting treated better with this person over here, of course I'm going with the person that's 5'10". I'm not going to pick the 6 foot if I'm not getting treated correctly. These are trade-offs that we have. We have feelings for both of these men, but one treats you better. One is better for your life. You're looking in the same direction. You want to do the same things. This person wants to travel, you don't. This person wants to do this, you don't. This person wants a polyamorous relationship, you don't. These are things that you vet. Shorter men syndrome. What is that? Yeah, but there's average men, there's average women, there's women that's short. I believe there's always somebody for somebody. If you look decently, carry yourself differently, know how to walk and talk and chew gum, know how to communicate, there's always someone for someone, right? And if you're halfway decent looking and you don't have someone, that means something is wrong with you. If you want somebody and you don't have somebody, there's something wrong with you. Not necessarily saying you're goofy or nothing else. It's just that maybe what you're looking for is out of your league. I don't know. But these are the things that you have to contemplate, right? But are you calling in, Rose? I think it was Rose. Who was it who said they were going to call in? And give me the argument for not being able to love two people at the same time. What makes a solid relationship is when two people have a meeting of the minds and they want to do the same thing, understand the other person's differences, and are accepting of their flaws. That makes a solid relationship. And communicating and being able to have conflict resolution when you get into an argument. Those are the things that make relationships solid. Okay, cooking and cleaning. Hell, I don't know how to cook. I hate cooking. No, I know how to cook hot dogs and macaroni. Okay, I know how to cook that kind of shit. But I don't know how to put no 4-star gourmet stuff together unless it's a recipe and I can follow the recipe, right? That's why I like that home chef. Home chef. Got the recipe and the food, boom, 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 and I put it together. I'm just making food for me, right? So I'm saying, no, that does not make a relationship sustainable. Anybody, hot dogs and bologna, yeah. Man, fry that bologna up there. Let me stop. But I'm saying you and another person can make a relationship solid if you have those communication skills, if you have the conflict resolution skills, if you guys are looking in the same direction, maybe the same religion. But then there's a lot of people who don't have the same religion and they make it work because they respect each other's differences and expect and accept each other's flaws. It's when we become intolerable of other people's thought processes, their actions, and the way they see life that we have conflicts in relationships. Okay. And I just early on said, I'm going to accept him for what he is, the way he walked in the door. Okay. That was a decision in my head. See, I made a lot of decisions when I was a kid. I wouldn't put my hands on another human being. I decided that I would love a person to my fullest capacity, not be argumentative or rah-rah in a relationship. These are things that I decided before I got married, before I got in a relationship. And so I think me wanting to resolve conflict, me wanting to communicate with this human being is what made this relationship work. Robert, man, you put that, you call, would you? Somebody call. I want somebody to give me the argument. I'm not going to push back. I just want to know what your argument is about why you think two people can't love, one person cannot love two people at the same time, right? Because I think it's possible. Here we are. We got a phone call. Somebody arguing. Let's see.
Call from
Lonnie.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
Hello, Lonnie. Can you guys hear Lonnie?
Hi, guys.
Hey. What is your argument?
I believe that a woman cannot fall in love with a man, like 2 men at the same time, only because the fact of our emotions. And I feel that if a woman is spending enough time with a man, if she is around a man a lot, doesn't matter if she's, we use our emotions when we have sex with a man, everything is our emotions. And we feel very, very deeply for a man. So, excuse me, I believe that a woman is going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place at some point in time if she does catch feelings for a man, and she's not going to be able to kind of break that away.
So what happens if you were in love with someone and then they left? You didn't know why, how, whatever. But then you meet another person and then that person shows up again.
You'd be conflicted.
You'd be conflicted. So you don't think it would be two people, you loving the other person the way they used to be, even in that older relationship, and then still loving this new person?
I probably would like the new person because, the feelings are not completely gone from the other person. I probably would like the new person a lot more as far as like right then and there, because whatever I'm missing, like lacking at the time. But if my emotions, again, are there with the old person, I'm going to want to try to work it out with the old person, especially if they're open to want to work it out with me. So that door will be open.
But now you're making the argument that you could have feelings for two people at one time.
Well, not to the extent of like, I would keep the new person around like that, but I would eventually go back to the old person if my love for them is still like heavy. If the love for them is heavy, I would go back to the old person. Like regardless if the person is really good to me, if it's like my heart is there, that's where I'll be. I'm going to go with my heart to that.
Do you think that you would, if you didn't, would you do it immediately? Would it be something that you would do immediately?
No, it'll be a gradual process depending on how things ended. I would have to get, closure to a degree and find out why, what went wrong on both of our ends. But 9 times out of 10, if that door is open, it's a possibility that I would go back.
But do you think you would see for you to have fallen for the second person, do you think that they would have affected you? One wouldn't affect you as much. What I'm trying to say is, do you think they would be different loves and yet you would still be able to feel torn if you got away from the first guy? Second guy. Would you
saying like
that way?
Would I be torn in a way of like the second person is doing all the things for me or whatever that the first person didn't do, and then I'd be it'll still be a confliction, honestly. It'll still be a heavy confliction just because again of my feelings. And a woman with our feelings, if we are not being practical and our love is clouding the judgment to a degree, we're going to be susceptible to kind of go backwards to a degree as well, I believe.
So you don't think it would be considered cheating if you took time to resolve those feelings for this second guy?
if the first person just left cold turkey, the relationship is technically over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you got closure or didn't get closure, if they just left you high and dry with nothing to, no closure, it wouldn't be cheating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Essentially, if a person is deciding to just up and just leave you and never come back, and you're left like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's happening. After a while, depending on how much time has passed, you're going to see that as the relationship is over.
Would you tell the other person?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You take chances. You would take your chances on the relationship. Any?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I would tell the other person just because I think it's the mature thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's no further confusion.
Mm-hmm.
To try to be as transparent and upfront as possible, even though nowadays, some people don't do that. But I think for the other person's feelings involved, I think it's best to clear the air with that.
So why do you think you're different from most people who probably would not say anything? Only because you think it's the only reason why you do it. You're a good person.
I wouldn't say that. I think as you grow as an individual and as a person, you begin to see things a bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
As well as, I wouldn't even really go out for just being a good person, because I think that's kind of a cliche thing to have it as, because we are capable of doing anything to a degree. But I would more so say, for your own, depending on where you are and how you are as a person and where you are at in life, I think it's best to let someone know how you feel at some point, so that there's no, I kind of look at it like this: I don't want to block my blessings. So if a person, depending on how I move and how I operate, if I'm not moving in a way with intention, at least good intention, I could block my blessings with somebody else because I want to try to have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you say you don't, so you think, no, you can't love two people at not the same time. You can, but you cannot deal with two people at the same time. And it be honorable and have integrity dealing with those two. You can't do that at the same time.
I don't believe that we can, again, because of our emotions. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that a woman will be able to sustain that for a long period of time without feeling swayed in one direction or another.
So what about a man?
A man, I mean, they operate differently than a woman does. They don't really operate, they have emotions, they have feelings, but they don't really use that as a deciding factor to pick a mate.
Okay. And we don't want to lose one and then have the wrong one. So you want to make the choice early. Early. Okay.
Yep. I think the best way for a woman is to play it smart, just do like a pros and a cons list. And then measure up whether or not, the person, again, based on quality compared to the aesthetic, although, you want somebody to be attracted to. But if a person has higher qualities than anything else, that would kind of blow the other person out of the water.
So when you say you want to have the integrity, so what if it's a is it polyamorous?
Yeah, I think polyamorous is like more than one person or something like that.
So how do you think those people resolve that issue? If it's not,
I think it could be more drama based. I'm not saying I can't speak for everybody with that type of situation, but I think it could be. I'm more of a one-on-one, but I think that a person who's having more than one woman, more than one man, as far as and they're having an open relationship with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 partners, collectively, I think that is a bit more drama. It's more prone to happen with that because emotions, jealousy, one's not getting enough sex, one's, or he may have a favorite that he goes to more than the other ones, and then the other one's getting all pissy and stuff. So I think it could depend. I mean, I think you might did a reaction video to one of the girls before where she was poly, but she was bisexual. And she was like, well, I really came for the girls. I didn't come for the man. And I was like, whoa.
I'm one of those people that I can't really I can't really deal with 2, 3 different people at the same time. And I know that I would not be able to deal with a man who had 2 or 3 women, and I was one of those women, right? Because I
Yeah.
remember talking about polygamy, and then me sitting at home waiting for him to come home and him over there seeing her. There would be no way I would be able to function in that kind of relationship. No way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm 33 and I have no children, and I'm waiting to get married before I have children.
Mhm.
And I have men who have children, and I'm like, I don't do baby daddies because of the drama that can come from the mother. And then it's not even just that; it's just that I kind of want my first child to be their first child, kind of thing. So I'm very stingy or selfish with my partner. You see what I'm saying? I want them to myself. I
And
don't want to have to share.
that's exactly the way you should be. You should be very intentional with what you do and who you see, right? And if that person
Yeah.
wants to be fluid, or like they say, fluid swapping, if that person wants to be fluid with their emotions and their body, then that's not the person for you. You are intentional. Women should be very intentional when it comes to dating and getting men. And it's a lot of swapping around there. I just don't understand. If we want to get married, then let's do what we need to do to get married and be intentional when we get into these relationships, because there's decent. I'm never going to say there's not decent men out there. There's decent men, there's decent women. We just have to wade through the mud, I guess. I don't know how they look for men and women these days. Is it on the apps, or is it you meet
I
them?
would say I would say it's predominantly on the apps. I'm a bit more on social, like media dating, as far as like Hinge or something like that. But even then, I'm selective because I used to be kind of heavy on the pretty boys, and I will admit that I used to be kind of more of a pretty boy look. But as I've matured, I've gotten to the place where I'm looking like I prefer a man having higher qualities on the scale than just the aesthetic. Because for Black women, I'm a Black woman.
Mhm.
For Black women, we tend to get caught up on the looks faster than anything else from the man.
Right.
And that's end up being our downfall is we're going for how good he looks or, like you said, the Pookie of the bunch. And Pookie doesn't have to be a man that's going to jail or
Right.
he's got a criminal record. A Pookie can be any man. Because to me, a Pookie is a man that can hustle up some money, got good mouthpiece game,
Right.
and the ladies like him.
Right.
That can be a Pookie. That can be any man. So
And
a Pookie doesn't have to be strictly just what we see on TV.
I
So
said that. I said my husband was a Pookie. He was a Pookie in red. He just was marriage minded. We got married within 2 years of knowing each other. He was like, no, I want to get married and da 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 da. But he still had Pookie behavior. You know what I'm saying? Just
yeah,
behavior, but I didn't have to worry about him cheating, but I just had to worry about him doing all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I get it. I do. And this is the compromise, and these are the things that we have to think about as women. We cannot be a part of a group when a man is dating women. We catch feelings for these people. So we have to be intentional with the man that we get involved with. Because if you see 2 or 3 different men and you make the distinction as to, they say vet, it's like, okay, I have 10 things I want this man to do. If that man has at least 6 or 7 of those, then you need to run with that one particular man. And I get that the other ones have those characteristics too, but we can't spread ourselves thin trying to find a decent man. We need to pick one.
Yeah. I also believe that the more options in general that we tend to get, it can also cloud a woman's judgment too, because we can have 4 or 5 men at one time, and then we got to make a decision, and then we could be indecisive, like, oh my God, this guy's got 4 or 5, and this guy's got 8, this guy's got whatever, but this guy's sex is good, and that'll mix everything up, because again, we have to take time and take a step back and to process things, and they ain't gonna wait forever.
Right.
So I agree. We definitely have to be more careful, more cautious. I'm kind of coming across it now where a lot of people are doing the talking points Not saying that they're not wrong for that, but we have to kind of branch outside of the internet. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with wanting a woman who's fit, feminine, and friendly, but then you get a girl who is fit, feminine, and friendly, and then she's friendly to every fucking body, and now you get attitude. You know?
Right.
So we gotta be clear with that, even with women.
Right.
I want a 6 foot tall man that's got all the money in the world, but then, like you said before, he can treat you like crap.
Right.
If he's got a lot of money because he has a type of power and control.
Right.
You end up having a biddy on your hands, you know?
Right.
So we have to be more selective and more definitive when it comes to just outside of the talking points, emphasizing more again on substance versus just wanting in the moment.
So if you had the choice between one or the other, would you would want looks and the personality, you want all of that in one thing. So would you run with if you had a checklist of 10 things, would you just run, if the guy had 7 of them, would you run with them 7?
Yeah. Yep. For me, the looks and all that stuff is an add-on. It's a perk. It's a bonus. It's not the quintessential thing that'll make me want to be with him. Because again, I've had men that's been really attractive. I mean, some turners, some head turners, and they were either, you know, not emotionally intelligent. They were either priding themselves off their looks to go on and pull more women in. And for me, I can kind of tell off rip after a while that, okay, all you have to go for you is your looks. What else can you do, you know, besides be pretty?
Right.
And oftentimes I can kind of tell that they don't have anything outside of just their body or their looks or maybe their job title. And for me, that wasn't going to be enough.
Right.
So I definitely would say that I would go off of a person who has more qualities that I can see for long term compared to just a few months of whirlwind romance.
So has looks been to our detriment, that we have been looking at looks first and then personality? And then
in the black community, I would say yes. For a lot of black women, most of us, and you see that a lot if you take a look around our communities, a lot of us go for the good-looking guy versus the guy that's a nerd, or, you know, and he ended up being super successful one day, and we're going for the guy that has the most swag or whatever, you know, and that again is our downfall compared to going for the opposite direction of that.
So how do we look at our people and say, hey, maybe looks are not all that we need to look at first. Maybe let's go the different way. Let's look at, but see, that's the thing. Men are so caught up with, she just wants my money, right? So what when it's looks, when we can't look at looks and we can't look at money, what are we looking at? Just the personality?
Personality, see, I realize that too. Personality and character are different things, right? Because personality is how likable you are. And your character is actually the core of who you are when nobody's around you.
Right.
And even when you're in front of other people, that's your character. So when we got to be, again, more definitive when it comes to that too, because personality, anybody can be likable. They put the mask on long enough, you'll like them, you know? So
we're saying that we have to have time in order to discover the person's personality, their values, conflict resolution, all of those things first. How do we get our women to stop? How do we get our women from stop looking at the gorgeous Pookies and Ray Rays and start taking a look at our regular guys that are out there? You know,
I think it depends on, again, our self-esteem, and whether you realize it or not, a lot of us don't have good self-esteem, men and women. And I know men's self-esteem is more lower than a woman's by default because of the sexual validity, right? Sexual options are a lot lower for men than it is for women, because men prioritize sex and they prioritize a woman's vagina. So that's naturally going to increase her sex appeal in other men's eyes because that's what men prioritize. Had they prioritized things that matter for them outside of getting the woman because of that resource, then they would have better self-esteem. You see what I'm trying to say? But unfortunately, that's not how it is in today's society because how things are ran. But I believe that if we are all taking a step back and truly looking at ourselves and say, how needy am I? That's a thing too. Nothing wrong with having a person to need and want them,
right.
But most are operating out of a place of neediness versus the interdependence.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I noticed this as well within my brief dating history right now. A lot of people are in the space of being needy, where they have more of an attention problem than anything else.
Right.
So it's more so like, I'm with you because you boost my ego versus I'm with you because I actually like you.
Oh, wow. Okay. So do you think,
right.
so do you think that people have too high of an expectation? So they're looking, whenever they go out on the dating market, they're dating 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 different people and not trying to find that one normal human being. And they're instead of looking for 3, 4, 5 different women, because the title of the show is, can you date or love two or 3 different people at the same time? This is what we're finding out there in the market. People are dating 2, 3, 4, 5 different people at the same time, and they can't even make up their mind on that one particular person.
Yeah.
They're afraid to compromise. They're afraid of missing out.
Yeah, I've also add in too, like if you look at the celebrity world, I kind of don't put them on a pedestal anymore because they're just human beings with a bunch of money that make bad decisions, right? If you look at Kanye West, for example, he is a man who is operating off of his pain, right? He never got over the loss of his mother.
Right.
That broke his heart. And he's been on a rampage ever since.
Right.
You know, he got with all the women that he's been with have been women that have been promiscuous. We can argue the fact that when he got money, he's in a different caliber of realm or whatnot, but he's a man who's broken. And when you're operating off of a broken mind and a broken heart, you're going to make bad decisions. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
thank you very much. I have another phone call coming in. Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Thank you, HQ.
All right. Talk to you later, Lonnie. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Call from
G Honda.
to accept.
How you hang up? Why you hang up, Gianna? Why you hang up? What happened to you? Anyway. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you. She said you cannot love 2 people at the same time. That's impossible. Because it's always going to be a conflict between one or the other. I think one is going to press upon you more than the other one. It's always going to be a give and a take. Sure did, didn't he, Joe? Didn't he? Don't made me hang up. But I think there's always going to be a give and a take. I know, I know he did. So when we make a decision between 2 people, you try to pick the best possible person for you and leave that other person alone. Because there's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be a fight between, do I want to spend time with this person or do I want to spend time with this person? This person has all the good qualities. This person has the better qualities, but I don't want to miss out on what this person has to offer. But I don't want to miss out on what this person has to offer. It's always it's always going to be a pull one way or the other. That's why polygamy relationships don't last a long time. There's some that last, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all. What I'm saying is they don't last as much as people think they do. because there's always, see, I'm going to let my husband walk into the door and say, I want to have another woman live in this house with us. There's going to be some furniture moved up in there. There's going to be some furniture moved up in there. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm saying, if you walk into that relationship, it doesn't matter whether you walk into a relationship with one, two, a couple, and then another woman comes, there's always going to be jealousy somewhere. Because she ain't going to put up with being second choice. And a man definitely is not going to put up with being second choice in a relationship. Oh, I'm over here dating G Honda. But then Leroy comes along. Oh, I like you, Leroy. Oh, G Honda ain't going to put up with that. And Leroy ain't going to put up with that neither. Okay? So you always going to have that conflict, that back and forth. So now I'm on the right side. Triple X, maybe it's a man thing. She made the argument, Lonnie made the argument that women cannot do that. I was on board with you, but you said this is a man thing. This is the thing that men do better than women. That men can do this better than they can distinguish between the two and then make the decision. Women get messy with this. Women get messy. This G Honda, me and you gonna have it.
From
G Honda.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Mr. G Honda.
Heathen Queen was good.
How you doing, baby?
Doing good.
Which one? Where do you fall? You gonna be the deciding factor. Which one?
We live tonight.
We live tonight? Yeah, you live right now.
Oh, okay. No, I want to touch on what the last girl said about men prioritizing sex.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like well, we prioritize your youth, your womb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you come in with like, okay, so if you got majority of our women that's baby mamas and not wives, so, and we trying to tell you that, things you need to do to preserve yourself and to better yourself,
mm-hmm.
and to tell your daughters to move better.
Right. And
the black women in mass just not doing that. And we seeing that more and more every day, right?
Yes.
So, okay, and I would only say and ask you, so why you think black women can't find that in mass and every other non-black woman can find that in mass? Since they are indeed the most married and black women are not.
I don't understand. I don't even begin to understand the dynamic of why black women move the way they do. I know it has to be education. It has to be that we're not educated enough to say, or maybe we're raising I think it's a fault of the generation before this one, who did not train their children, who did not train their women or their daughters, that this is a priority, that marriage is a priority and not a child. Because I think they have it flipped around. Okay.
They definitely got it back. They definitely had it backwards, and still do got it backwards. I mean, but if every other culture and race of women can get married early, get married in their 20s,
mm-hmm.
and build with a man, and not proud. But see, the problem with the majority of black women, they prioritize luxury, they prioritize financing mm-hmm. over marriage and building. I mean, if you look at the woman, what's that woman that been with Jim Jones for like 20 years?
Chris.
And exactly.
been with them 20 years, 20, 30 years. I mean, and
It's either, right?
not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like, but I'm saying like you could have went and got with somebody, you know, that's maybe, I don't know, a manager at Target, a manager at Amazon,
Right.
and built with that man, right? A good, honest man, but you know, you was chasing that luxury, you was chasing that bag, you know, that luxury was just too good, I guess. But
How do we start putting that message out there that in this economy, ain't nobody taking care of you?
No, getting the message is simple. It's not complicated. You know, what's rooted in truth. It's always simple, and that's get married early and build together.
Right.
That's the priority. The priority needs to be marriage. Get married early.
That's the message that I'm going to give out right there.
But okay, so but if that's the message that wants to get out, why is it not in effect? Why is it not a commonality to where, okay, our white women can get married early and build families and sustain families. The Asian women can do that. Mm-hmm. But why can our black women do that en masse?
Because they haven't, they were not trained by the generation before. I'm 2 generations above the girls now, right? I'm the grandmother of the 20-year-olds, right? So my parents taught me, get married, do what you got to do. Because when I had 2 children, I was in a relationship with their father, right? But I was still ashamed, or I felt some type of way because I wasn't married. And then I prioritized. I knew my mother was like, no, we're not going to have this. Do what you have to do. And then I prioritized getting married, and I happened to find a man who wanted to marry me, and I had 2 children, and then I was there for 30 years, obviously, right? So
hold up.
What?
Hold up before you go any further.
What?
So all right, so you had your kids, right? And then you was like, okay, so would you say prior to you having your kids versus you getting married first, wouldn't you base that on rejection, a rebelliousness of not prioritizing marriage, or are you just or are you just trying to say you was uneducated? Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this. My fault. Mm-hmm. Was your parents married?
Yes.
Okay. So you grew up in a 2-parent household.
Yes. But me and my 2 children's father, we went to college together. We were in college together. We lived together. We were planning to get married. So he walked off on me.
Okay, so but why didn't you make it a stipulation, a requirement for him to marry you prior to procreating with him?
I did, but he didn't want to get married until after we graduated.
Well, why you had kids with him?
How am I supposed to know? I'm only 20 years old. I'm only a kid.
You're an adult. No.
That was 19.
No, wrong answer. When you passed the age of 8,
I don't remember how I was feeling back then. I don't remember any of it.
Okay, well,
ashamed.
Okay, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to your audience that you're following, right?
Right.
So once you pass the age of 18, you are an adult,
right?
Which means you have that line of responsibility, of adulthood, right, to where you make it that stipulation, you make it that requirement that, okay, whatever we doing, you're going to marry me first before I procreate with you, before I live with you, before any of that. Right. That if every other race of women can make that stipulation, that requirement in mass, our black women can do it too.
Right.
And that's what's so far lost upon us. And that's the reason for all this that we are seeing.
But see, sometimes how do I put this? Sometimes I feel like I'm a hypocrite because I can't speak like that, because I was one of those women who had 2 children and then I got married, right? So
no, it's not hypocrisy.
Messenger for that.
It's not heathen queen. It's not hypocrisy if you're standing on it.
Right.
It's not hypocrisy. It's only hypocrisy if you're not owning it and you're not standing up on it. Right. If you standing 10 toes down on it, it's like, look, I did that. That way does not work.
Right.
The way that it works is that you marry before you carry and sustaining your household, keeping your family together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're standing on that, there is no hypocrisy.
Right. I mean, but I feel like that. I'm saying I feel like that sometimes.
Take your feelings out of it. You gotta take your feelings out of it. Your feelings ain't got nothing to do with it.
You know, because I wanted to marry this person. I wanted to be married to this person, and then this person walked off, and then I was like, okay. But I met my husband like a year later. And then we were together from then on a year later. My children, when I married my husband, were 1 and 2 years old. So they were young. And so knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted to be a wife and everything else. And I promote that. I tell people, okay, when people say, well, how are you going to tell somebody to get married and then you had 2 children? And then I feel some type of way, right? And then I kind of withdraw. But my message is always, get married before you have children and y'all build together. That way, you know, that man is not coming for she's not coming for your money, and you're there for the long haul, right? Can we get our people on the right track to do that? Which is a goal of mine. Marry before you carry. Stop in your tracks.
And it's not. Right. It's not always about, you know, this man having money or she having money. Because money come and go, and money can be obtained and sustained. But see, I think the granular thing that we miss out on is because majority of us are average. We go to work, we earn a paycheck weekly, bi-weekly. Right. Some of us salary, but the commonality is that everybody want to be, and we live in an age where we live in the digital age, to where we can have that direct consumer to access, to where we can generate business work, make businesses on IG, make businesses online and such. But the thing is, majority of people are average. We have average jobs. Right. A lot of us work at Target, Walmart, and etc., Amazon, whatever the case may be.
Right. And not take care. We cannot take care of another person. We need 2 and 3 incomes to make this work. Okay.
Absolutely. But see, the thing is,
women asking for men to take care of them. There ain't no men that can take care of you like that. Y'all have to work together. It is what it is. Right?
Exactly. And for the few, and we can't get that in mass. Majority of people work. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, we just have to prioritize building the family structure, sustaining the family structure, and keeping the family together.
So when a woman says, and I seen it in the comment section, she said it's the problem is men can't provide. But what does that mean? The ability to provide. What does that look like though? In this situation? No, negative. Men can provide. She and the likes of her are not choosing proper men. Mm-hmm. She's choosing what gets her wet. She's choosing what can screw on her the best way. She's most likely choosing boys. Mm. I mean, she's not choosing a man, because a man, an actual man, a real man is going to be that provider. That's what we are called to be. That is our purpose: providers and protectors. That's what we do. All these females that want to go out there and don't want to be told what to do, and a man can't protect and provide for what he cannot control. So if a woman want to go out here and be promiscuous and party and
be around females that's of that like, there's no problems for a woman like that.
Yeah.
Period.
You know what? They're making the argument that they don't want to send their children out to be taken care of. They want to be able to stay at home and take care of their children. What's the argument for that? And men are not providing enough money for them to stay at home and take care of the children. What you say about that?
So, okay, so on average, you know, we already discussed the medium average household it's about what, 40, right at 40K, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if the majority of people work, so if the majority of y'all, if you, like I did, okay, so I grew up with my mom and dad. They made round about that same medium. Both of them worked.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them worked together. They had 9 kids, six girls and 3 boys. Same, all 2 years apart. And they both worked. My mom wasn't no stay-at-home mom. My mama took her ass to fucking work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and they sustained the household. They kept the family together. They ain't have none of that back and forth friction. They made it smack. They made it work with 9 kids together. They had all 9 of their kids together. Yep. No blended family, no none of that. All 9 of us from both of them.
But I have to say, I have to push back on the babysitting, right? Because me and my husband, he worked midnights, I worked days. He worked days, I worked midnights. We didn't want our children to go to daycare either. Same thing. So we worked different shifts, but we had them after the evenings together, but we worked different shifts so that the kids didn't have to go to babysitting or people didn't have to watch our 5 children. We had 5 children, right? So there's a way around this babysitting thing. There's a way around it, right?
But it's a commonality though. You can't take away what the average person in America have babysitters. Why? Because they both work. They both have jobs or careers, whether they're construction workers, whether they're federal workers, whatever the case may be. That's what the average person does. Right. We can't omit what average people do because I want an above average lifestyle. Right. I mean, that is a luxury. You being a stay-at-home wife, that's a luxury. Average people don't get that. I mean, granted, if your husband such get a raise, and if he can afford you that luxury, he can afford you that lifestyle, right, for you to be a stay-at-home wife, that is fine. But average people that we see every day, if I'm looking at Asian family that live 2 blocks from me, and the husband, wife, and families in there cooking and building their 3rd Chinese restaurant,
right,
and only for it to sustain 20 years down the line, they are built